Welcome to the Get Money edition of Dolphins in Depth, the podcast provided to you by the Miami Herald. I'm your host, Miami Herald columnist Omar Kelly. Joining me is Isaiah Smalls, and we are here to break down the mega contract extension that De'Von Achane has received from the Miami Dolphins on the eve of training camps, OTAs, not training camp, but OTAs on-field start, which for those who don't know, the Dolphins are right now practicing in pajamas. They don't get helmets. They don't get any pads. They don't get literally anything. They're just in shirts and shorts. It's like a version of flag football with drills and equipment out there. But next week on Tuesday, they are going to be wearing helmets with those shirts and shorts. And so De'Von Achane has signed a multi-year extension. And even though he skipped all but a couple days of the offseason program, he is going to not be there in good faith. He is going to be there to be their leader and their flagship player because Miami Dolphins have rewarded the third-year tailback with a contract extension. Tell us more about this extension, Isaiah.
Yeah, good amount, honestly. It makes him the third highest paid running back on a per-year basis behind Saquon, who's number one, and Christian McCaffrey, who's number two. To me,
hold on, higher than Derrick Henry?
Yeah, on a per year basis. Yeah, on a per year, 17. Yeah, per year.
Okay. First of all,
I know where you're going with this. Like, go ahead, do your little contract spiel. Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, young whippersnapper, I must educate you. Number one, what is the only money that matters in the NFL?
Guaranteed money, of which he got $32 million.
Okay, $32 million. Now, this is important because understand that an NFL contract, remember, Tua signed a 5-year, $248 million contract. How much of that money did he get? He only got
200 million?
What?
Like 200 million? Right?
Oh, he didn't even get 200 million. He got the guaranteed portion of the contract, which is probably it is about 100 and something million. But when you look at NFL contracts, because they are not guaranteed, there's a whole lot of funny money. And APY happens to be funny money as well, because APY is average per year of the whole length of the contract, which most people know the back end of NFL contracts, you could wipe your butt cheeks with what they're worth, because it's probably as valuable as toilet paper. Contracts do not go the full duration in the NFL usually. Now, there are exceptions to that rule where you see Aaron Brewer's a contract that's going the full duration. He signed a 3-year, $21 million deal. I think Jordan Brooks signed like a 3-year, $24 million deal. And it only goes the duration when the player has exceeded what the contract merits. Like, for instance, Aaron Brewer. Is he worth $7 million a year? Absolutely. No question about it. So he's worth more. So it's on his best in his best interest that he actually gets a new deal and re-ups his deal, same way that Zach Sealer re-upped his deal at the end of his extension. But if you've exceeded that contract, it benefits the team to let you play on it. But most contracts, unless they're rookie deals, you're never going to see the end of it because teams aren't going to honor it. That's why they don't make it guaranteed. And in reality, one, I will not allow you to tell the APY because the APY ain't real. And also, I need to clarify, people want to portray this as a 4-year contract for $53 million. No, it's a 5-year contract. Anytime you use the word extension, it's not 4 years over $53 million. It's 5 years over $53 million. Agents never tell you. They tell you the full value and they tell you the extension to fake you out and make you think it's more than what it's worth. But it's really a 5-year, $53 million deal that features $33 million in guaranteed money. And Right now, he is the fourth highest paid running back in the NFL because I value guaranteed money and only guaranteed money. Jeremiah Love has a 4-year, $53 million contract because he was drafted in the top 5 selections by the Arizona Cardinals, who have just thrown off the balance and the scales of running back salaries, and there will be consequences to that. Saquon Barkley with the Philadelphia Eagles, your Philadelphia Eagles, has the second highest contract with $36 million in total guaranteed money. Then we get to Ashton Genty, who was a first-round pick last year with Las Vegas Raiders. He has $35.9 million in guaranteed money. And then we get to De'Von Achane, who jumps ahead of James Cook, who I always told you was the bar at $30 million. He jumps ahead of Breece Hall, who just signed for $29 million, a 3-year extension. And he jumps ahead of Travis Etienne, or one of the Etienne brothers. I can't remember.
It was Travis.
It was Travis Etienne. I can't remember what his contract was, but that was one of those ones where you had to get ahead of it. Now, yesterday I said $33 million was probably what I would not move off if I was De'Von Achane. That gets me to $11 million a year. You put his 4th year contract, which was $5 million and some change, along with the franchise tag, which is $14 million and some change. Put it all together, it's $20 million over 2 years. That was what he was technically playing on as long as he didn't get injured. So I would want an extra year and throw me an extra $1 million on those years. So that brings us to the total of 33 in my mind, because I wanted it instead of 10 a year, I wanted 11 a year, that which got me to 33. He signed a contract for 32. It's a win-win because ultimately, as long as he doesn't get arrested, isn't a criminal, doesn't kill anybody, or doesn't pull a Christian Wilkins, he's going to see all $32 million of his contract. Yeah, I said it. And truthfully speaking, I think Christian Wilkins should see every single dollar, because fully guaranteed means fully guaranteed.
That's real. You talking crazy like he might not walk in that locker room this year when they realize they might need some help on that D line. But
you think Christian? I'm an advocate of bring Christian back, bring him home, let him redeem himself, and I don't even worry about them young boys. They'll figure it out as backups. They will figure it out as backups. I want Salt and Pepper reunited.
That's good.
Yeah, but ultimately it's a good deal for Miami because, one, their marquee player, the only player that you can market for this organization because he's really the only proven commodity, maybe him and Jordan Brooks. He's here. He's in the fold. He's going to be part of the OTA program. And I think that sets a great example for the team. It sets a great precedence that we take care of our players. And that's very important. That's one of the major reasons I was a big advocate for Zach Sealer's contract extension, because Zach had done everything right. And so had De'Von Achane. If you don't take care of the people who do everything right, who are you going to take care of?
That's real. That's real. And to that end, I think the timing of it is perfect too. You mentioned it coming before the start of ATAs, which just allows for even more chemistry to get built up. But then also it's before Bijan and before Jahmyr Gibbs, like two guys that, are looking to change the market with the Falcons and Lions respectively, right? So getting the deal done before those guys, take their big slice of the pie is huge, because, if I'm Achane's agent, their deal gets done first. I'm pointing to them. I say, I want that money.
Yeah.
I don't care about no James Cook.
Yeah.
I want their money. So
Achane got 32. I promise you, Bijan gonna want 33. And then Jahmyr Gibbs, he probably want 34. That's how this game is played.
No, that's real. That's real.
So yeah, it definitely benefits the Dolphins. I'm very curious to see how the deal is structured. And when I say how the deal is structured, I mean, what was the signing bonus? Because that's going to dictate to us what the year one cap is going to be. It's very interesting to see that they don't even have the cap space. But then remember, they restructured his contract and gave him $4 million of his money in a signing bonus to create cap room when they traded Jalen Waddle. And so now I'm curious to see, not only has he already got $4 million of this deal, he's probably, going to get $12 million in a signing bonus. So ultimately in year one, he's probably going to walk away with $16 million. And that's pretty impressive, but we won't know that until we see how the contract is structured. And truthfully speaking, right now, I don't know if they have the cap space to like turn this deal into the league tomorrow. I don't think they do. Because you gotta create cap space to make a deal happen.
And then to that end, I'm curious to see, looking ahead. Maybe I'm looking too far ahead, but okay, Achane was the first domino to fall. Where's Brew and where's Jordan Brooks, right? Like, how are you gonna make those work as well? Because this is the timing. And I'll give Sully credit, right? He said, let's get the draft done first. Once the draft's done, we're going to focus on the extensions, right? Achane, Brooks, and Brew, right? And so now here we are. Achane's done. Check that box. You have your offensive leader back. But you need someone to block for him, i.e. Brew. And then you need a voice and the leader of that defense, in my opinion, in Jordan Brooks. So where are you on those? That's my – and I know it's like, we should really bask in the glow of this De'Von Achane deal, but you had three guys that needed to be re-signed. Right?
Everybody has players. I'm sure the Philadelphia Eagles got players that they need to re-sign. I'm sure the Arizona Cardinals. This is part of what the business is in the NFL. When especially if you're a certain player of a certain caliber, you want the guaranteed. For those who don't understand, while Aaron Brewer and Jordan Brooks are making decent money right now, they're probably both, from a performance standpoint, leaving about $4 million on the table in terms of where their play merits. And neither of them have any money put into next season in terms of guaranteed money. And when you're a top level player, as both of them are at their positions, you want to make sure that you're protected from an injury standpoint. The worst case scenario for a player is that they go into a season where that's the final year of their contract. The team forces them to play on it, and then they get injured. I call it the Nick Needham situation, whereas Nick was playing on his restricted tender for like $4 million, got injured that year, and then had to come back to the organization and sign a deal for $1.6 million. And really had to feel fortunate that the Dolphins would be willing to sign him coming off an injury. That's the worst place to be. Kader Kohu, another perfect example of this. Played on a restricted tender, got injured before the season started, and obviously the Kansas City Chiefs signed him this offseason. But do you think Kader's making the money that he really deserves or merits because of the injury that he suffered? No. So De'Von Achane, the whole benefit of signing an extension is so that you don't have to go into the season worrying about injury or go into the season playing, trying to get, we saw, let's be real. We saw the Javon Holland final season, and, there was a lot of, I'm trying to survive and make it to my next deal.
That's bro.
And, and to his credit, he played through injury, played through a broken hand. He played through a knee scope, but was we really putting it all on the line, trying to get to
I don't like to question whether or not guys were, giving their full effort. I will say this: it just didn't look good. Like it wasn't particularly great. Like it's not like he was, the Javon Holland of 2023 was a lot different than the one I saw in 2024, and that's just someone that was a casual fan prior to getting on the beat, right? So that's neither here nor there. But just to go back to what you're talking about in terms of why these guys want this deal done, I just did a little bit of research real quick. I'm gonna put you on the spot. In terms of guaranteed money, where does Jordan Brooks rank?
Oh, his guaranteed money is over, so he ranks behind second round picks at this point because the guaranteed money's done.
33rd. That is where he ranks.
Where he was ranked based on his existing deal. But I think the more important thing is I think the most recent benchmark for inside linebackers, I think, is $12 million. Jordan Brooks is at a little under 9, I believe.
He's at I think he's like at 10. I just saw it. Hold on 2 seconds. Yeah, you're right. 9.5. 9.5.
Yeah.
You think the guys that just signed, like you think about Nakobe Dean, former Eagle who just signed with the Raiders, his 20 mil, that's his guarantee.
Guaranteed money, so 20 mil, so that's 2 years, so he's 10 a year. Yeah, pretty much.
Didn't Quay Walker just sign with the Raiders too? Just re-sign with the Raiders? Or
I believe he did. What did he get?
28 million.
28 million. So he's basically at 14 million a year, probably, unless he's got the first 3 years. How long did he sign? A 5-year?
2 seconds. Quay Walker was a no. 3 year. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 years.
3 year. What's the full total of his contract?
3 years, 33.25.
And he got how many guaranteed?
20.75.
Oh, 20.75. Okay, so 10 a year. Oh, yeah. About 10 a year for starting caliber, linebackers. We're not talking about Fred Warner price, but it's a respectable price. And the center price has just recently gone up because of the Baltimore Ravens center who got Ray last contract.
Yeah.
I don't think that Aaron Brewer is gonna be.
Wait, I was wrong. I'm sorry. I think it was 28 million fully guaranteed, but 7.25 is a signing bonus for Quay Walker. 3 years, 40.5 million, 28 million fully guaranteed, 7.25 signing bonus.
20 million fully guaranteed. Okay.
28 million fully guaranteed.
28 million, so 14 a year.
And 7.25 was included in that.
Yeah, the signing bonus is not relevant. But anyway, here's the reason why I think the extension train should be shut off right now. Yeah, I said it. One, do I really want to compensate a star player and a linebacker before I know whether or not he could be a leader and a good fit in my scheme? Because this is a different scheme. I need to see him succeed in my scheme. Number one, same thing applies to the center. Aaron Brewer is going to be playing in a new scheme, a new style. Does it fit? Is it a good fit? And also, Aaron Brewer has battled with some durability issues throughout the last 2 years of it. Oh, yes, he has. Throughout the last 2 years of his career. Aaron Brewer has not
who had the one of the longest streaks in starting. I mean, he's battled injuries, but he's played through it. This is why I don't like, because you're sounding just like the people who talk about Jalen Waddle right now. They're like, oh, he's always banged up. Oh, he's always limping off the field. Yeah, but he comes back. He doesn't really miss games like that. And so I'm gonna let you finish, but I have serious disagreements with what you're saying because one, you're talking about Brew saying like, oh, the scheme's different. Where does slow it come from? Like, come on now. Like,
he comes from Green Bay, but are we going to be running an outside zone where the center's on the second level? Are we sure? Do we know?
And that remains to be seen. You're right. But I think that you need core pieces of both your offense and defense just to see if it works. You're right, Jordan Brooks. I think that you have the biggest argument with Jordan Brooks because you're right. It is a totally different scheme. They like to be versatile, multiple, right? Like they don't want you to see like what they're running. They might be a 4-3, might be a 4-2. Like I get it, I understand that. But a good linebacker is a good linebacker,
absolutely,
right?
No question.
I think, and what I love about Jordan Brooks is that the phrase "see ball, get ball," right? That's to me what he does very, very well. He sees it, boom, he's there. Plays done, right? And I think that sort of value to me isn't scheme dependent, right? That to me it is an ability, a instinct, thing that you can't teach that. And
Okay.
for you to get rid of for the roster as terrible as it is, you're talking
I
about
didn't
getting
say get rid of anybody. I didn't now that I don't have De'Von Achane to worry about, my franchise tag could go to Brewer or it could go to Jordan Brooks. And I can now use that in my negotiations with both. Now, center, I mean, there is no franchise tag for center, so he's going to be paid like a franchise tag offensive lineman, and that's a steep price. So obviously that's not going to benefit me in the Brewer conversation. But with Jordan Brooks, I might be, I might be able to use that from a leverage standpoint. But here's the point I'm making, Isaiah. You can't pay everybody every year. It does set a bad precedence. And isn't that the exact same thing that we argued about when Jalen Ramsey got his deal and Tyreek got his extension and Tua got his extension?
You didn't need to pay Tua because Tua had
and Jalen Waddle, like
Tua giving you one good year of production.
2 good years of production. Don't be disrespectful. 2022 was a good year.
Okay. How many games you play?
Enough to lead the NFL in passer rating.
The one stat that isn't affected by how many games you play. Come on now, like
there's 2. He led the league in completion percentage 1 year too. Led the
league
in yards thrown for 1 year too.
Again, you're naming other than the one that he led the league in yards, the other one
2022. Hold on.
The other stats you're talking about aren't dependent on games played. If anything, when it comes to completion percentage, it helps you to not play games. So I don't want to hear that, right? I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear
that. Listen, you don't. My point is, you don't have to give everybody an extension.
You're right. You're right.
You give extensions when you want to send the right message. Do you need to send the right message to everybody? No, you don't. You send the right message one time, and then I'm sorry if Jordan Brooks has to play out the year at little under $9 million, a little under $10 million. Oh, poor him! What a crime! Not to say that he's not a person worthy of an extension, but am I offering him 90 cents on the dollar for what he thinks he's worth? No, I'm probably offering him 75 cents on the dollar. You either take it or you don't, and we roll the dice and we see how this plays out. Now, is it in your best interest to roll the dice with Jordan Brooks, considering he probably would want to leave for a better team? Probably not. But he's now got to assume the risk of injury, as will Aaron Brewer if you don't extend him. So there's a lot of different ways to think about this situation. But while I'm a big advocate for players being compensated what they're worth, I'm also a big advocate for don't just give extensions willy-nilly. Don't just hey, you get an extension, you get an extension, you get it. Everybody, we're not Oprah. We like, let's calm down a little bit. You took care of the most important player, and then the other 2 guys, they're making good money. They're making all right money.
I was about to say they're making okay money relative to the position. They're not making good money.
I mean, any NFL player, and I used to do a statistical study. Any NFL player making over $6 million a year, they're making good money for the NFL, and that's just the reality of the situation. Like in the NFL, I usually do an annual study of who's the highest earners for the year, and then who are the biggest bargains of the year. And you'd look at the Dolphins roster every year. There's probably 11 guys making more than $2 million a year. 11 guys on a 90 player training camp roster. So not everybody's super rich. And to be real with you, Aaron Brewer, if you never touch his contract, he's still one of the top 10 earners on the Dolphins. Jordan Brooks, if you never touch his contract, still one of the top 10 earners on the Dolphins. If you're in the top 10, I'm not shedding a tear for you. There will be no tears. You know what I'm saying?
But you think Aaron Brewer is the 11th best center in the league, which is what his numbers said?
No. Okay. No. But I also think you need to show that to me on the field in this season and show me you can stay healthy before I put you in, make you a top 7 paid center in the league. I mean, listen, there's a reason he went undrafted. There's a reason the Tennessee let him go. He's small for his position. Why do people not draft small players? Because there are durability concerns with them.
I think the durability concerns with Brew are a little bit overstated, but I hear you.
Well, I mean, you know, we've sat out a lot of OTAs and training camp.
But are you missing games?
Okay,
that's the only thing I care about.
You're right. Like, you're absolutely right.
You're talking about practice, not a game. Practice. Like,
you go Allen Iverson me?
Yes, because you're talking crazy right now. But go ahead. I'm gonna let you cook.
You're right. The Dolphins ended his playing streak, but he admitted himself that neck was toe up.
Yeah,
he couldn't do it.
That's true.
These are things but I will tell you, he played like a warrior in that game that he injured his neck. And those are the people I do want to reward. I do want to take care of them.
Exactly. You put your body on the line for this franchise, for this city. To me, you gotta reward that. And don't get me wrong, Achane, you take care of him first. He's a guy that is homegrown in a sense. Like he is the driving force of your offense. He decides to get disgruntled and doesn't report for training camp. You have a serious problem on your hands. Those two, they're important. They deserve their money, and I think that to me, it's obviously one is Achane, but the other two are 2A and 2B as far as I'm
true. So who do you prioritize, and who could you endure a sit-in from?
If I had to choose, it would probably be Jordan Brooks. That's the one that you could wait, to be honest. You got Jacob Rodriguez right there, Kyle Lewis, like, you know what I'm saying? You drafted for, God forbid. I'm not saying I want Jordan Brooks going anywhere, but God forbid. To me, I think center with how mobile Aaron Brewer is, I think that's something that you don't see every day. When you have players that do things that are outside the realm of possibility, things that you haven't seen. Because I personally haven't seen many centers move like that. That's something you kind of want to keep in-house. With Jordan Brooks, you kind of double down. Because don't get me wrong, there's Andrew Meyer here, right? And Teron Armstead has gone on record saying that is a starting center. And he was phenomenal in training camp last year.
Before he got injured. Yeah,
before he got injured. But to me, Bruce the guy. And plus, with how much you took away from the offense, I think when you have an offensive line, you kind of want to keep those together. Keep that together for as much as you can. He is the connective tissue for everything that we're going to be seeing.
Bro, I've been covering this team for 18 years. Offensive lines together, they don't exist. They don't exist.
No, I know. Exactly. They don't. Because people get banged up, knee here, ankle there. I get it. But when you have one, when you have one that performed, he performed well last year. Patrick Hall performed well. Jonah, we're banking on Jonah switch to the right side, and hopefully that boosts his.
You're banking on Jonah switch to the right side.
We all are banking on it. Like, we're all banking.
I am not banking on it. No, that I shall not go to the bank on that one, sir.
I mean, look, it was you got to roll the die. Look, I'm on record saying last year I thought Tate Route should have been the pick, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, you pick who you pick. Now he's here, right? So hopefully, I won't even say I'm banking. Hopefully, Jonah switch to the right side, boosts his play. Hopefully, AJ stays healthy. And so, to me, when you have cohesion, you try to keep it together. Don't get me wrong. There's going to be injuries that happen along the way. And then also, I'm on the flip side of that. Jeff Hafley is what? A defensive coach, right? I'm trusting him to put this, to at least his scheme be up to the level where opposing offenses, it's a plug and play essentially, right? Like, you can, and look, I know what you're saying, but for me, I'm putting more onus on him being able to coach up the defense in whatever way than me taking away from an offense that lost Tyreek Hill,
Jalen Waddle,
like
Darren Waller.
Darren Waller. That lost so many pieces. I want to keep that nucleus if we can together. Versus, new defensive scheme. Jordan Brooks, like you were great last year. Who knows if you'll fit this year? Again, this is if it's gun in my head, I have to choose. But I prefer both of them boys get paid.
We've got the schedule coming out later today. This podcast was taped on Thursday around midday. Here is what I look for in the schedule, because honestly, I don't care. Yeah, I would not like them to start multiple games on the road in the first month of the season. I look for how many games they play in September and October in South Florida at 1 p.m. so that heat and humidity can ride the backs of whatever opponent that they're playing. Obviously, the NFL wants to go the opposite direction just because the NFL knows that Hard Rock Stadium creates a huge disadvantage for the opponents. Oh, well, Crimea River. I also look for how many games are played in potential snow games in November and December and January. So I'll be looking where the Buffalo game is. I'll be looking where the road game against the New York Jets is. I'll be looking where that Denver Broncos game is. And I'll definitely be looking where that Green Bay Packers road game has been placed. Hopefully a lot of those snow games are placed early in the season so that they can be an easy travel schedule for myself and you and for the Miami Dolphins. And I'm also looking where the bye falls. A lot of times where the bye falls to me needs to come. It can't come too early. It can't come too late. It's got to hit at the right point. So those are the things that
week 8 to 10 to me is ideal.
Yeah, but everybody can't get the week 8 to 10 bye.
That's real.
Yeah. And also everybody's looking for how many nationally televised games the Dolphins get. I put the over-under on 2.5. They're clearly going to get a Thursday night game that's nationally televised, and somebody's going to take them somewhere. Maybe the Green Bay game is going to be nationally televised. Maybe they make that a Monday night game. Malik Willis versus his former team, week 3 of the season. Let's do it. So yeah. Anything particular you looking for from the schedule?
No, I gotta echo all of that. Obviously, I'm looking forward to the game against the Raiders. Seeing Mendoza versus his hometown team. That's going to be a one to watch. Outside of that, they don't release preseason games with the schedule, though, do they?
I think they do. Because
obviously preseason coincides with joint practices. I'm hoping, if God does answer prayers, I'm hoping that there's a preseason matchup against one Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'll be to see it.
I want to see that too.
I want to see that. Caden Proctor versus the hometown kid Ruben Dane. One-on-ones.
It'll be Patrick Paul or Austin Jackson versus but we will get to see. And we've been going up to Tampa for those joint practices the past couple of years.
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't mind that again. It definitely provides you good work. I'm pretty much betting that we're gonna see either the Falcons or the Jags on the preseason schedule. My guess it would be the Jags, because I believe that Halfley and the Jags coach have a relatively respectful, good relationship. So we'll see how that pans out. But you're right; those preseason opponents, that's going to dictate to us where those joint practices is going to be. And I think the Dolphins have 2 home preseason games this year.
Last year they had two away games.
Yeah, last year they had 2 away games. So I think that's how this works. But we'll figure it out. On that note, Dolphins in Depth, we will be back next week to give you our look or observations and thoughts of what we saw at Dolphins OTA. Finally going to get to see Malik Willis in action and what this Dolphins defense looks like next Tuesday. And Dolphins in Depth will be back to cover it all and share what we see and what we know.